Hey guys, so in this video we're going to talk about that second leg up that is starting to happen on a lot of these older booster boxes, even some of the newer booster boxes and ETBs. We'll get into that first, just a little bit of news. We'll do it super rapid fire because I'm sure a lot of you guys have already seen this. The super premium collection, the artwork's been, unveiled, and there's the deck box and whatever, the promo card 15 packs. You guys all know about that. Uh, the Destined Rivals. So I guess we're not going to get the Marnie and Steven IR cards in the set. It looks like these are going to be promos in the battle deck. I guess Pokemon knows how to sell battle decks now. You just put really sick promo cards in them and then force people to get those if they want the card. And then finally, what is this? The Rapidash IR card from Heatwave Arena. I actually kind of like this artwork. It's really unique in my opinion. So I imagine this will, be worth a tiny bit of money. Nothing too crazy. But moving into some of these booster boxes, I guess we start off with Fusion Strike, right? And if you guys saw the title of the video, all-time highs, a lot of these sets are starting to hit all-time highs again. And you can't really look at the graph because it's behind, and we're moving at the speed of light in this hobby right now. Most recent sales from today: 474, 470, 490, 485. Obviously, Fusion Strike at one point was over $500, so this isn't one of those boxes that is at an all-time high yet, but it's very close, and especially considering, a week, 2 weeks ago, it was selling as low as like 430, 440. We're already seeing it push back towards that $500 price point. I imagine it's going to push back through $500 any day now. If we want to talk about sets hitting their all-time highs, Astral Radiance is now selling for about $265. Most recent sale from yesterday, 260, 250 before then. A couple 260s, a few lower sales as well, but the fact that we are seeing sales now at 260, and even in Canada, I was keeping an eye on a couple stores that had Astral for around 320 Canadian, not USD, Canadian, and all those boxes have been bought up in the past week, so people are starting to definitely move this product and buy it up and see it as undervalued, I guess, at certain prices that we're at now. Lost Origin next up is now pushing all-time highs again, almost. Same thing with Fusion Strike, right? It's probably going to need another week or so, but we are seeing consistent sales over $390 and a couple very close to $400. Again, that price is without shipping or taxes, so people are basically paying over $400 all in to get a box of Lost Origin now. And same thing in Canada. I think 401 Games had these up for $499 Canadian, basically 500 Canadian, which is less, like 380, 370, like that. They've now moved their price up to like 550 Canadian. So all these stores in Canada are moving their prices up on Lost Origin again. Paldea Evolved, as we now move into Scarlet and Violet era, some of these boxes. I mean, guys, I said you had 3 days to pick it up at $200 before it made that move again up to around 220. You had about 2 days to pick it up at 220 before it hit $240 now. The FOMO on this set is wild. And I'm saying that, and look, I understand that Paldea Evolved is probably not going to get reprinted. I've been buying Paldea Evolved. But the fact now that like Paldea Evolved is almost the same price as Surging Sparks, and it's actually higher than Twilight Masquerade, which again, I understand they're newer sets, they're more likely to get reprinted. The fact that it's like right there at this point, like I don't know, that's a bit off to me in my mind. Like I think there's just maybe a bit of a price discrepancy at this point, where Twilight Masquerade and Surging Sparks are actually almost undervalued when compared to Paldea Evolved. But it is selling around $240. Some sales lower, 230, 235. We'll have to keep an eye on this and see if it pushes even higher. Speaking of Twilight Masquerade, this one continues to go as well. Most recent sale, 238, 230, 220. So it is selling, on average, a little bit lower than Paldea Evolved, which again, if you guys remember back to when we looked at the charts of the top 3, top 5, and top 10 hits, I actually think that Twilight Masquerade in the long term will be higher than Paldea Evolved, with most of the reason for that being that the Greninja is, probably a better chase compared to the Magikarp. And then when you look at like the top 5 cards outside of that, so like in Twilight, you have the Eevee, Carmine pairing right now. Those are probably better hits than the Raichu, Tyranitar, and Baxcalibur, whatever else is up there in Paldea Evolved, the Iono as well. So yeah, I mean, Twilight Masquerade, whatever. Surging Sparks, I mean, this one is climbing a little bit and is kind of pushing its all-time high. Most recent sale, $265, 259, 264. You had a sale down here yesterday, 3 boxes at $280. And I mean, if Paldea Evolved is pushing 240, 250, if Twilight's going to push that as well, we have to think that Surging Sparks, even for how young of a set it is, should be, probably north of $300 at that point, if that happens. and one Silver Tempest box is out of order as well. My bad. But this one is selling around $250, 253, 255 down here, 249. This is, I guess, a sealed one, or those are packs, sorry, 220. So it's selling in that 250 range again. Keep an eye on Silver Tempest. He did have a sale yesterday, 275 as well. So this one is slowly moving up. We're probably going to see it push 260, 270, probably $300 eventually. And then just a few ETBs to close out this video. Crown Zenith. You guys know I bought 2 more cases of Crown Zenith like a week ago. I paid 150 Canadian all in. You know, ETBs in Canada for Crown Zenith are like what, 180-ish now, 185. Probably going to push $200 soon. So the fact that like in the time it took to ship it to my house, it's gone up 20%. It's just wild. And yeah, $120 USD at this price point. I don't really know if it's going to go too much higher in a short period of time. Like, are we going to see this hit 140, 150 over the next month? Probably not. But yeah, I mean, it's going to slowly continue to climb up there. And, you know, Crown Zenith, great set. We all know, blah, blah, blah. No need to go too in depth into it. 151. These ETBs, the regular ETBs, guys, this isn't the PC version, okay? The PC version is like $400. The regular version is over $200 at this point. Most recent sale from today, $213. Yesterday, $200, $198, $194, $196, $200. So yeah, I mean, $200 legit. I can't find these anywhere in Canada because, you know, I've been looking over the past like week, 2 weeks. I kind of thought about just adding a case, even at this price point, as ridiculous as that sounds. And, you know, I remember like a month ago, Hobbiesville had some of these for like 180 Canadian, so like I don't know, 130, 140 USD, whatever that would be. And yeah, after that sold out, like the lowest you can even find if a store has some in stock is probably like 250 Canadian at this point, 300 Canadian. Like it's wild to me how fast these prices are going up. Paldea Evolve, same thing. About 110, 106, yeah, maybe not 110, but 106, 100, 106 again. So you're probably around that 104, 105 range if you average it out. But it has pushed above, you know, that $95 range into the 3 digits. And then Prismatic Evolutions, to round out the video, you guys remember I made a video when this was around $105 and falling, that the bottom was near, this was going to start to rebound. I remember some people saying it was going to go lower. Most smart people didn't say that, but we're already back into the 130s, getting close to 140. You do have a couple lower sales today, 125, 127, 130. But 135, you have sales pushing 140. At this point, I imagine this is going to continue to go. We're going to see it hit 150 soon, then 160. And guys, if we don't get reprints, like look, 151, like if it gets the 151 treatment and we do not get reprints of the ETBs, which, you know, when you think about it, right? Like if Pokemon has a printing problem, okay, and something like the ETB is probably one of the most time-consuming things to create because people have to manually put all the dice, the promo card, everything else inside the box. You know, it's probably a lot more efficient for them to make things like booster bundles, booster boxes. So if there is, you know, a limitation how much they can print, and we aren't going to see massive reprints, it probably wouldn't make sense for them to, you know, spend a lot of time doing something as inefficient as making more ETBs. So if it does get the 151 treatment, we don't get a reprint of ETBs, Prismatic Evolutions ETBs are going to be just nuts in a year's time. They'll be north of probably $250, maybe even $300. If demand keeps up in this hobby. If we see a pullback in demand, you know, people exit the hobby, there's a slowdown, which will probably happen eventually, then maybe it won't go as crazy. But again, if there aren't a reprint of ETBs and demand stays high, it's just going to be wild. Guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.